This video begins where I've been many times, but I always try to make a point to go if I'm in the area. I'm heading to Springfield, the capital of Illinois. Yesterday I was in Springfield, Missouri, and today I'm briefly stopping in Springfield, Illinois. Both are great Route 66 cities, but I'm only here to see two things: the state capitol building and Abraham Lincoln's tomb. I covered the city many times, and not much has changed since I was here last. So as I pass the tipsy pink elephant on the left, I'm mostly going to avoid the dreaded MP and directing to my previous videos. It rained overnight, and it will be raining on and off all day today, so that'll wash away all the effluence from driving behind the dreaded Pissmobile yesterday. Now in downtown Springfield, I'm going to swing around, and there's the Capitol building. This is a beautiful edifice from the late 19th century.
Hey guys, it's Emily. Welcome everyone. Today is day 5 of my road trip through the center of the United States. Today I'm in the state of Illinois. As of filming this is the day before the 2024 eclipse. So I'll head south from here in Springfield and check out some places where they'll experience totality. Let's finish this road trip. Let's go.
One more look at the state capitol building. I would love to go inside today, but it's closed. Take a look at a map to see where I'm going in the state of Illinois. This morning I'm starting in Springfield and gradually making my way south to some points on Route 66 that I haven't seen and some that I have. Then I'll continue south and end where the solar eclipse will experience 4 minutes of totality around the Carbondale area. The total solar eclipse is the day after filming this video. Now I'm heading to the historic Oak Ridge Cemetery. This is the largest cemetery in the state of Illinois, and the second most visited cemetery in the entire United States. That's probably because the 16th President of the United States is buried here, Abraham Lincoln. He, his wife, and some of his children are laid to rest in the large mausoleum way over there with an obelisk. I have hundreds of people visit Lincoln every day. Springfield, Illinois is the city he called home, and my last visit I toured his boyhood home, which is not far from here. That home and the entire neighborhood have been restored and is now run by the National Park Service. As for the tomb, it's open to the public free of charge from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. It appears they're doing some renovations to the property. It doesn't look like the area below that mausoleum, including Lincoln's original resting place, is open, but the tomb itself is accessible. So let's go inside and see President Lincoln. This is the text of Lincoln's farewell address to the citizens of Springfield. Lincoln had become the president-elect, which caused multiple states to secede from the Union. The speech was emotional, and he was not sure he would return to Springfield alive. This is the Gettysburg Address, just 271 words long. It's probably one of the most significant speeches ever delivered. This was delivered at Gettysburg National Cemetery a few months after the deadliest battle of the Civil War. Lincoln had begun to come down with smallpox when he delivered this address. Lincoln was buried about 10 feet below this granite marker. Lincoln was interred in this tomb in 1901. He is under 10 feet of cement because in 1876 there was a plot to steal his remains and hold them for ransom. Lincoln's wife, Mary Todd, is also laid to rest here. She passed away in 1882. Abraham and Mary Todd Lincoln had 4 children. Eddie died at the age of 4, Willie passed away at 12, and Tad passed away at 18. The eldest son, Robert Todd, is mentioned here, but not buried here. He served as a captain in the Union Army, and he is buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Here's some interesting trivia for you. In 1863 or 1864, Robert Todd Lincoln fell into an open space on a train platform. He was rescued by an actor named Edwin Booth. His brother was John Wilkes Booth, the man that assassinated Abraham Lincoln in 1865. When people visit Lincoln's tomb, they sometimes rub his nose, so that's why his nose is now a gold color instead of the dark bronze color. And yes, I did rub his nose. Another bit of trivia. Abraham Lincoln has no living descendants. Much of Lincoln's family passed away young or had no children. From the first time I visited the tomb, which was in early July 2020, when things had just started to reopen from the situation, I wanted to make sure if I was close to Springfield, I would take time to visit Lincoln's final resting place. I actually stayed about 40 miles south of here, so I did make a special trip north to see the tomb. In my opinion, Lincoln was our best president and assumed the presidency in this country's most perilous time. Now I'm making my way south, and I'm near the city of Auburn, Illinois, and I'm on an old alignment of Route 66. This section is commonly known as Brick 66, a 1.4 mile section of road featuring hand-laid brick. Many of the bricks are original pavement and date back to 1931. Now outside of the car, and you see some of the bricks are dark and some are more of a red color. The bridge is newer than the road, so the brick is more red there. But the dark bricks, those are much older. The road is kind of like patchwork of the old dark bricks and the newer red bricks. I'm not sure what causes the brick to become dark. Maybe it's the moisture over time? I'm not sure. Let's take this brick road to the very end. This road starts and ends at Highway 4, which was the final alignment of Route 66. The road I'm on now was the original 1920s alignment of Route 66, but in 1930, the mother road was realigned. So when this road got the brick pavement a year later in 1931, it was no longer Route 66. So it's interesting that this road is commonly called Brick 66 when it is not a brick road when it was Route 66. Are you confused as I am? The city near Brick 66 is Auburn. They have a population of about 4,600 people and is the home of the Trojans. I can't find any reason why just this part of the road, which is no longer Route 66, was paved in brick. The only guess I have is it may have had something to do with hiring workers during the Great Depression. This is a beautiful road in a beautiful grassy rural area of Illinois. So if you're traveling near Springfield, this road is just 10 to 15 minutes away and definitely worth a visit. Now I'm at the northern end of Brick 66. This There are other notable brick streets along previous alignments of the Mother Road. The most notable is in the town of Shamrock, Texas, which is a brick road through its downtown. The Brick 66 right here seems to be better maintained than some of those other brick roads, probably because of the lack of traffic, especially big trucks. And now let's get on Interstate 55 and head south to my next destination. Stopping at a Walmart in Litchfield, about 15 miles south of Brick 66, I wanted to get some gas, and this appears to be the cheapest I could find. Illinois gas is much higher than the other states I visited, at $3.49 a gallon. My next stop is not far from here, and it's here at the Miners Cemetery in Mount Olive. The cemetery was founded in 1899 after an armed conflict killed 13 people and wounded 35 others in what was called the Battle of Virden. The Battle of Virden took place on October 12, 1898. According to this marker, there was violence between Union miners and non-Union strikebreakers known as scabs when the Chicago Virden Coal Company reneged on a labor agreement. In the cemetery is the burial site of labor leader Mary Harris Jones, better known as Mother Jones. She passed away in 1930, and a monument in this cemetery was planned soon thereafter. Mother Jones was a former school teacher who became an activist in the labor union movement in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. In 1867, she lost her husband and her 4 young children to the yellow fever epidemic. She then moved to Chicago, and she lost her dressmaking business and all her possessions in the Great Chicago Fire in 1871. Jones helped with the rebuilding of Chicago, and part of that rebuilding led her to join the Knights of Labor. Once that organization folded, she joined the United Mine Workers Union. Jones had later been branded, quote, the most dangerous woman in America due to her ability to organize workers as well as their families. One interesting thing in my research was that she didn't align with the women's suffrage movement. She once said, quote, you don't need to vote to raise hell. Jones started embracing her Mother Jones moniker at around age 60, when she wore motherly black dresses, and she referred to the male workers she represented as, quote, her boys. It was around that time print publications referred to her as Mother Jones as well. One famous strike where Mother Jones participated was the March of the Mill Children, which brought attention to child labor. This bench mentions Donnie Stewart, who was one of Mother Jones's sons. Here's another bench over here with a quote, pray for the dead and fight like hell for the living. I am an organizer, an agitator, and an aggravator. I act because I love humanity. We must stand together. If we don't, there will be no victory for any one of us. All nations, all men of power have gone down when wealth was in the hands of the few. She concludes, I'm no angel. Get it straight, I'm not a humanitarian, I'm a hellraiser. In 1913, Mother Jones was sentenced to 20 years in prison for violating a disputed court-martial while organizing workers against a private army set up by owners of a West Virginia mine. Mother Jones continued her relentless work for the United Mine Workers up until her death in 1930. Jones is buried here, and there have been a couple of people that have come by this morning to pay their respects. After almost 94 years since her death, some of the quotes I read earlier are still used by union members. Some more notes on her legacy. Mother Jones magazine was started in the 1970s. She was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame in 1984. The cemetery was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1972. Alright, let's see another historic place in Mount Olive. There are numerous historic gas stations along Route 66, and this is one I have not yet seen, so since I was in the city to see the Mother Jones gravesite, I'll drive a couple of blocks to see this official Route 66 roadside attraction. This is the Soulsby Service Station, built by Henry Soulsby in 1926 after he was unable to continue working in the mining industry. He operated this gas station with his two children, Russell and Ola. Once Interstate 55 was completed in the late 1950s, traffic on Route 66 was dramatically reduced, so the station doubled as a radio and TV repair business. In 1991, the station stopped selling gas, but still sold beverages and snacks to Route 66 tourists. By 1993, the station was permanently closed. In 1999, Russell Soulsby passed away, and his funeral procession took him under the roof where those gas pumps are one final time. The current owner of this property, Mike Dragovich, and the Soulsby Preservation Society started work on restoring the gas station in 2003. A year later, the station went on the National Register of Historic Places and received a grant from the National Park Service. Today, the Soulsby Service Station looks very much like it did in the late 1940s when it was at its most popular. They even worked with a local hardware store to color match the building as it was when it opened, so the dark yellow and red colors of its exterior walls and the roof color are close to the 1920s era station as possible. All the windows and doors are original and have been restored. I'm not sure if the plans to convert this into a museum were completed, but this is a great recreation of the classic Route 66 gas station. I just talked about how Interstate 55 took a lot of business away, and here I am getting on that very interstate. But a classic stop where I-55 and Route 66 meet is only about 10 minutes away. Now in the city of Livingston, and I've reached the Pink Elephant Antique Mall. This giant store opened in 2005 and has become a popular stop along the Mother Road. The store is massive, about 30,000 square feet, and the building used to be an old high school. In addition to the antique mall, there's a diner and an ice cream and candy store. The theming of the diner is right out of the 1950s, something maybe my grandparents might have been to when they were teenagers. Or maybe not. I have no idea. There are many interesting fiberglass pieces outside the building that might be familiar. For example, there's a familiar big boy statue holding a delicious cheeseburger. And here are the famous cartoon chipmunks Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. There's part of a gray elephant sticking out of the wall, and up here is a beach boy fiberglass giant statue. According to this painted mural, Livingston was founded in 1905, and you can see on the image of Illinois, the gold star is where we are. Not sure why there's a dentist chair here, but here it is. Here's a Sinclair dinosaur, and a statue of Marilyn Monroe, and some others down here. This poor guy sitting down has a metal pole sticking out of his chest. Now inside the antique mall, they have a huge selection of anything you might want. Above the restroom is a Jolly Green Giant, a Sprout, and a statue of an older couple. There's a good variety of Disney stuff all over the store. Not just Disney, but some Pillsbury Doughboy stuff. I see some M&M characters also. A little bit of everything here. Even some glassware and flatware. If you're looking for anything, like something that was discontinued, something you have a hard time finding, this could be a good place to go. But you have to look through every aisle. Right here you have a typewriter, Dalmatians, and glassware. In this area are some Star Trek collectibles, and also some items that have signatures from the actors. Here's another section that has many different things. So this is why I say you have to look at every section and every aisle. There's no real organization to this antique mall, as you can see. Over here is a bunch of old cameras and video recorders. I think I found the puzzle section. There are lots of puzzles that don't appear to have been opened, probably to preserve their value. Down this hallway is apparently a basement area with even more antiques and collectibles. Talk about going through every nook and cranny of this place. Over here they have some action figures, but also some cartridges for your old video arcade system like Atari or Nintendo. I found something for my best friend, and now I'm in the candy store section. They have a good selection of Route 66 merch, some magnets and pins and other stuff, but they have a good selection of candy. With Betty Boop overseeing, they sell candy by the pound, or you can buy it already packaged. And of course, I had to sign the guest book with my YouTube name. This is a fun stop. There's a muffler man in a spaceship on the grassy area, but it's been raining and I don't want to mess with my shoes. If you like antiquing, you must visit. Drove about 60 miles, and it's been raining on and off. Not far from Interstate 64 is this very small church, which has a long ramp leading to it. This is St. Mary's Chapel, also known as the Traveler's Chapel. It looks like the church is open, and the sign here says travelers are welcome. And lucky for me, I'm traveling today. With a break in the rain, I'm going to check out this tiny church. There are many tiny churches across the country, and this one appears to have a new roof. There are numerous Bible verses attached to the walls. I don't see any pews or an altar, but there's a carpeted area where one could kneel and pray there. This church is built like a log cabin. Check out the walls in front of me. The scripture has been etched into the planks of plywood. It's not handwritten. This was done at a wooden sign maker. Notice the letters are very uniform and a slight indentation in the wood. Apparently the name of the church, St. Mary's, is fairly recent. Here's the kneeling area, and also some candles. Upon post research, this church has been closed for a while and had been painted white recently. So this church is a little less rustic than it was a few years ago. By the door are two Bibles. I wonder if they have a minister or a pastor serving this church. This church definitely looks less rustic now, although I guess it did need some paint or stain to freshen up the wood. And that roof definitely looks new, maybe installed in the last few years. This church is just off exit 50 on Interstate 64, about an hour east of St. Louis. I tend to visit tiny churches, so I can add this one to my visited list. Anyway, it's starting to rain again, so I gotta get to the car. About an hour south of that church, I'm in Murfreesboro. As you can tell, it just got through raining, but it's stopped for now. There's something interesting here as I swing around, and it looks like there's a statue of a Sasquatch. I didn't expect a Sasquatch monument in Illinois. This is known as the Big Mighty Monster. The statue was unveiled not long ago, on June 24, 2023, exactly 50 years after this creature was reported to be seen here. The statue is a precise replica of the police reports of the monster seen here in 1973. It's 9 feet tall and appears to be covered in a lot of mud. According to those police reports, the creature came from the nearby Big Muddy River and was screaming. It was also reported to have a very foul odor, like a sewage type smell. Each year, Murfreesboro celebrates the anniversary of the 1973 sighting with a festival called the Big Money Monster Festival. The festival features a 5K, food trucks, live music, and a documentation from the creature sightings. The festival also features many speakers at the downtown theater. I thought Bigfoot and Sasquatch sightings were more of a southern thing, but then again, I'm in southern Illinois, which is about 200 miles away from Nashville, so maybe this is part of the South. Oh, I think the eyes glow red at nighttime. That'd be really creepy in the middle of the night. Alright, I need to head to nearby Carbondale and start scoping out where I want to watch tomorrow's total solar eclipse. And you know how to capture the big muddy butt. As I was leaving, I noticed the road I was on was called Muddy Monster Road. Alright, let's go to Carbondale. Now I've arrived in the city of Carbondale and I'm at this unusually shaped house. If you look at the roof, it very slightly looks like the spaceship Earth in Epcot. This is called the Bucky Dome, named for the creator of the geodesic dome. This marker says this edifice and the Ann Hewlett Dome home are on the National Register of Historic Places.
Even the bird pond has a dome.
I guess this could be a shallow pool also. The creator of this house, R. Buckminster Fuller, built his first dome in 1949, and this house was built in 1960. Bucky lived in this house while he lectured at nearby Southern Illinois University. I'm heading to that university in a little while to check out that sign for the eclipse viewing tomorrow. Dome homes were a fad in the 1960s because some people thought they were the house of the future. Well, 60 years later, I'd say not so much. In the mid-2020s, dome homes are more of a peculiarity. I guess the only geodesic dome that caught on is the centerpiece of Epcot, and that one opened on October 1st, 1982. Alright, let's check out the downtown Carbondale area. There are flags all throughout downtown, noting this will be the second time since 2017 that Carbondale will experience full totality. But this time, there will be over 4 minutes of totality. 7 years ago, totality lasted 2 minutes or so. They're expecting over 20,000 people to converge on this town to see the eclipse. Most of those people will be at Southern Illinois University, so let's see what venues are there. This is a football stadium for SIU's team. Their mascot is the Saluki, which is a unique looking dog, kind of like a cross between a dog and a giraffe. See this pyramid? This is the pyramid of King Tut the dog, which is where the first Saluki mascot was buried. In 1951, SIU changed their mascot to the Saluki, and in 1953, they got a real-life Saluki and called him King Tut. The southern region of Illinois is sometimes called Little Egypt, so the King Tut name is a play on that. King Tut died in 1954, and a fraternity had a pyramid built over his grave to punctuate his legacy for all time. And here's a bronze statue of a Saluki. I don't think this is King Tut, but just a generic representation of a Saluki. It's very slender and has a long neck, but this looks more like a cross between a dog and a horse. The statue is the entry point to not only the football stadium, but the basketball stadium as well. Both those edifices were built in 2010. This is a cool looking dog, very unique. I can't think of any other school that has a Saluki as its mascot. Alright, let's head on out. Last thing I want to see in Carbondale is the Jeremy Boo Rockman Memorial Park. This park starts with a sad legacy. In 1993, a 19-year-old named Jeremy Boo Rockman died in a car crash just a few hundred feet from his home. His father bought 3.5 acres of land and created this memorial park named as Dungeons & Dragons because Boo loved the game so much. Boo's father hired professional artisans and also art students from SIU to create these sculptures, some based on miniatures that Boo had hand-painted and were discovered in his bedroom after he died. Because of the theming in the centerpiece castle, which I'll show you soon, this park is either known as Boo Castle Park or the Dungeons & Dragons Park. This park has become very popular, not only with locals, and is very busy today, but also D&D enthusiasts. Out of respect, one of the park rules is don't climb on any of the statues. Although it's very tempting, take a look at the giant creature over there. It looks like a cross between a lion and a bird. It probably has a name, but I have no idea what it could be. Here are a bunch of wizards, all dressed in baby blue outfits. Here's a giant dragon-ish winged creature. Again, I have no idea what their names are. This is the centerpiece, this giant castle. Inside is a large play area, which I won't film because there's a lot of children playing inside. There's a butterfly sculptures over here, and I guess they have butterflies in D&D also. Here's a miniature castle bench dedicated to Boo. This park is open every day from 9 a.m. to sunset, including holidays. Rest in peace, Boo. I was so worried about the weather, but the clouds are parting. Thank goodness. They're predicting very little if any cloud cover tomorrow, so I should see totality completely unobstructed. In the town of Wakanda, they'll have the most totality at 4 minutes and 11 seconds. That's something to smile about, right? There are a few towns with smiling water towers, and Wakanda, Illinois is one of them. But in addition to that smile, this water tower is wearing a small bow tie. Cute. The water tower has a bow tie in honor of the late Senator Paul Simon, who always wore a bow tie and was a lifelong resident of Wakanda. Just to be clear, Senator Paul Simon is not the same person as a musician named Paul Simon, but as a joke, both appeared together on a 1987 episode of Saturday Night Live. Simon served in the Illinois House and Senate, and then as Lieutenant Governor, a U.S. Congressman, and was a two-term U.S. Senator. He also ran for president in 1988. I love the little bow tie. Alright, just one more stop a few miles south of here. My final stop takes me to the city of Anna. They have a population of about 4,300 people, and they are the home of the Wildcats. They share a high school with the nearby Jonesboro. Unfortunately, it's clouding up again. I really hope the weather does clear up tomorrow. I changed my plans from watching the eclipse near Dallas, Texas for a better shot at clear weather in southern Illinois. This is going to be the preferred viewing side of the eclipse. There are a few options, including watching it from a parking lot at the Kroger or Walmart. There's also some quick serve restaurants here, so I can grab some lunch before the eclipse, which will start just before 2 p.m. Central Time. They'll have 4 minutes and 8 seconds of totality, and none of the huge crowds that Carbondale will have.
As it turned out, the skies were completely clear on the day of the total solar eclipse, and I watched the eclipse from the city park in Anna. I released that video a while back, so I'll leave a link to that video in the description. And that's it for my latest road trip series, Minnesota to Illinois. I have more travel videos coming up soon, but you'll see those next time. Thanks for watching, bye!